What's going on, everybody, and welcome to the Other Side of the Firewall podcast, where we talk about the latest and greatest in cybersecurity news, as well as we highlight those movers and shakers and glass ceiling breakers, those people of color who've made it to the other side of the proverbial firewall. My name is Ryan Williams, and as always, I'm joined by Shannon Tynes.
What's up? What's up?
And unfortunately, Levon could not make it, but he'll be here next week. What is going on, everybody? Welcome to another week of the podcast. So Monday and Tuesday are our topics, Wednesdays our discussion, and then Fridays we do what's called the weekly rundown, where we talk about everything but cybersecurity. So movies, books, TV games, movies, books, TV shows, and games. But definitely continue to like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. Without further ado, I'll give it to Shannon.
All right, everybody. So this first article is actually from CNBC.com, and it's written by Ryan Brown. It's titled "Uber Investigates Cybersecurity Incident After Reports of a Hack on the Company." So what ended up happening was Uber actually, their Slack app was actually, I don't want to say infiltrated, but someone social engineered to be able to get onto the app, to be able to go around and gain access inside the company. Now, this kind of sucks for Uber, right? Because they had an issue like 6 years ago or something like that. I think it was 2016 when it came to cybersecurity and being hacked. But yeah, what this hacker ended up doing through social engineering, right? So they're not divulging exactly how they got in or how they were able to do whatever they did, but it is believed that they had some type of access anyway, like they might have had some type of cheat sheet or something like that, that had some like admin passwords and things of that nature. But they got in, and it was kind of funny because I'm not gonna say it's funny, but once they got in and got access to Slack for Uber's on Uber's I don't know if you want to say community, they put a message out there that says, this is the quote, "I announced I am a hacker and Uber has suffered a data breach." Now, if you see that right on your Slack, you would do exactly as all these other people did, apparently, and they started sending emojis and laughing and stuff like that, thinking it's not real, right? So, but that's exactly what happened. People thought it was a joke and started sending emojis and GIFs or GIFs, however you say it, right? But yeah, so like again, it's not entirely clear how the systems were compromised, and I'm not exactly that coming forward with that information. But the fact that it was done with social engineering just lets you know that the human aspect of this is always the weakest, right? Like we can come up with all types of technology and things like that to protect us when it comes to cybersecurity, but at heart, like we are the weakest link, right? Goodbye, right? That's us. We're the weakest link, and that's exactly what happened here, right? So like I said, they already thought they had the keys to the kingdom, as they said, and they had an internal file with credentials to nearly everything, but this just kind of put it over the top. And so yeah, this is one of those things, like people, when it comes to social engineering, it's one of those things, especially in this day and age, that I think it's going to be very hard to sell people on. They can't do certain things, right? Like they're gonna want to talk, they're gonna want to communicate and do things of that nature. And so especially through these means, and it's just, these are the things that can happen, right? So Ryan, what's your thoughts on this?
Couldn't find that mute button, my fault. So things like this will happen, right? Over long periods of time. So like you said, social engineering, most likely they were able to either receive this file from someone who worked there, or maybe a disgruntled employee, or perhaps they themselves were a previous employee. Because I mean, there's millions of Uber drivers, and as the article alludes to, there's Uber, Uber Eats, Uber itself, Uber Freight. There's a lot of different entities to Uber. So they have a lot of people who are being onboarded and offboarded a lot. I'm not trying to excuse them by any means. Like so cyber hygiene is very important. I'm just not surprised that this happened. And luckily, so far, it seems as though it was only eavesdropping, right? It wasn't a person who was in there collecting a lot of data, at least not to our knowledge, and at least not to Uber's knowledge. So like, for some time from now, they might find that this person was actually collecting information or what have you, but it seems pretty immature, and they announced themselves, which is also not making me feel as though this person is like the greatest of hackers, right? Like he literally found out the username and password to one of the accounts and just came in there and started listening. Still not great, like not a good thing. And this shows that they definitely need to work on their attack surfaces. And most than likely, a lot of things changed right after this happened. Like a lot of accounts were reset, things of that nature, to avoid this person from giving that information to someone who could do some damage, and then get in there and then start to exfiltrate data and things of that nature. So um, Uber is a humongous company. Uber has their hands in everything, and Uber is run by, or not run by, but has investors from all over the world, right? Like I think like the Crown Prince is like one of their biggest investors. So be careful how you share your data. Again, a lot of our information is going elsewhere, overseas, and things of that nature. So it just goes to show you that you just have to be careful with what you do share. But they said no. It appears that no cards were compromised or no PII was released. So everybody should breathe a sigh of relief in this case, and then let's just hope that they fix the gaps that they currently do have. But I found it interesting, right? Like Uber suffered that breach back in 2016. That was pretty big. So they seem to have gotten a little bit better, but they still have some work to be done.
And actually, the person that's taking the hit for that one back in 2016 is actually on trial right now. So like they get another major breach while the person that's on trial for the one in 2016 is going through the mud.
Right.
Also,
Right. Like, see, you see that?
yeah.
They ain't get no better. You ain't better out me. No, I don't know. I guess it could work out in their favor though. Like, hey, listen, like they still have issues, so you should be a little bit more lenient towards me, because it is a big company. So I don't know how humongous their footprint is, but it's anything like Twitter that we discussed like last week or the week before last week. Twitter has humongous data farms, and like half of that stuff was unsecure. So, and that's a company with also means to fix these type of situations. So, again, not giving them a pass. It is pretty disheartening, but if you already don't have it baked in and you're now trying to secure over things that you had that are just not great, systems that may not be able to be patched and things of that nature, like this is what you get. But in this case, I think it really is just simple social engineering. I think they stumbled across something, or they asked somebody for something, they worked their way up. So again, the human element is like you said, the weakest link. So I think that wraps it up for this episode. So definitely continue to tune in. Again, Monday, Tuesday are our topics. Wednesday is our discussion. And then Fridays, we talk about everything else. So non-cybersecurity related. Like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. Hit up on our social medias. They go by the podcast name. And then you get me up personally. I'm Ry Security Guy. That's at Ry Security Guy. RYRY Security Guy on LinkedIn, Twitter, and Clubhouse. And Levon is at Levon Maynard on the Twitters. Stay safe, stay secure.